let's talk about the Falcons trading for Justin Fields potentially, because Atlanta was picked as a trade destination for JF1 by the Athletics. So we're going to unpack their trade idea, and then we're just going to talk kind of Fields in general and whether or not Atlanta would be a good, home for him, a good fit for a trade destination, and whether or not it makes sense for Atlanta to pursue the former 11th overall pick. But right off the bat, I want to get this across. Fields is a Falcon. I've never been able to see something so clearly before. I'm not exactly positive when it's going to happen, but he's not going to be a Falcon this year. I don't think that's going to happen, but I do believe this. Justin Fields will be an Atlanta Falcon for the start of 2024, and I don't think it's going to happen during the 2023 season. But guarantee you this much, he's going to be a Falcon. So with that being said, let's at least look at the Athletics trade idea as a potential mid-season trade, right? If Atlanta's like, you know what? We sure could use another quarterback because Desmond Ridder's not really getting the job done, and we think Justin Fields could, push us over the edge. Well, here's what the Athletic cooked up. They've got Justin Fields going to Atlanta in exchange for a 2024 second-round pick, a 2025 conditional third-round pick, and Taylor Heinicke to help the Bears out the rest of the way. So Atlanta still holds on to Desmond Ridder. In fact, I don't even know who Chicago would really want, Desmond Ridder or Taylor Heinicke in this trade. But Fields going over for Atlanta in exchange for Heinicke and two day 2 draft picks. Let's kind of talk about the pros and cons for a moment of a mid-season trade for Justin Fields. The pros, in my opinion, are this. You get a trial run before you are faced with the option of picking up his fifth-year option, right? That has to get done in the offseason of 2024. So if you were to trade for him in March without ever seeing him play a snap for you, you have to decide whether or not you want to guarantee his fifth-year option. So that is a pro because you could get a head start on that and get a look at him now before faced with that decision. Another pro is it could cost you a lot less right now, right? If you wait until after the year and Justin Fields balls out, you're not getting him for a second and a conditional third. It could cost you a first-round pick. Another pro, I think it's an upgrade at quarterback. If I had to pick a starting quarterback for Atlanta in Tampa Bay this week, I would go with Justin Fields over Desmond Ridder. A con, though, it could cost you more right now. If you make the trade right now and Fields sucks the rest of the season, well, all of a sudden you're going to look back going, I can't believe we gave up a second and a third. Had we waited until March, we could have got him for maybe just 1 third-round pick and held on to our second. Another con I've got, it's tough to make a mid-season switch at quarterback. It's not going to be a smooth transition. So for a team that's 3-3, in the hunt, in the mix to just win their division, and if not winning the NFC South, maybe getting a wild card spot, now is not the great time to make a change at the most important position in all of sports. A big con as well, Justin Fields is injured. He had a thumb injury in the last game against the Vikings, said he couldn't grip the football anymore. He's doubtful for this upcoming Sunday. I don't think he's going to play for the Bears. And honestly, I don't think we're going to see him for Chicago anytime really soon. So trading for a quarterback mid-season who is injured doesn't seem like a great recipe for a 3-3 ball club to go on a run and try and win some games. You know what I mean? The timing's just not great. But I still think Justin Fields is a very special player. He's obviously got the clear connection to Atlanta. He's from Kennesaw, so it would be a homecoming for Justin Fields. I think he fits Arthur Smith's offense a lot better than whatever the hell the Bears are trying to get him to do right now. But it is a big gamble, no doubt about it, making a move for a new starting quarterback. But it's also a big gamble when you think about the cost, right? If Fields balls out the rest of the year, let's say he comes back from his thumb injury, and he looks like the guy who has played very well as of late compared to the start of the season, well, all of a sudden, if Chicago gets the first overall pick, and they're like, hey, we just can't pass on Caleb Williams, whether they get it because of the Panthers sucking or the Bears themselves sucking, if they get the first overall pick and Fields looks good, it could be a win-win for Chicago, where they get a first-round pick for Fields and they get to draft Caleb Williams. Because this year, The raw numbers, if you dropped him in fantasy after 3 weeks, shame on you. He's been pretty darn good as of late. 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Blind QB resume, he goes up with some of the best QBs this year. Now, in his career, I got bad news. He's kind of a loser. He's not actually kind of a loser. He's literally the biggest loser as far as NFL starting quarterbacks go. Like, no one with that many starts has that worse of a win percentage than Justin Fields does with the Chicago Bears right now. So he hasn't really done a whole lot to prove he can win football games, right? Where he can kind of, all right, we see you look good. We see the highlights. We see the splashes. But can you put together 4 quarters and can you march us down the field for a fourth quarter drive? Like, Desmond Ridder's done that against the Packers. Justin Fields has not really been able to do that. Personally, I would run that risk, meaning I would wait until March. And it may cost you less than it would right now because Justin Fields is not playing this upcoming week. I have no reason to believe this coaching staff is going to improve his environment and the play calling and what they want to do offensively, schematically. So he's got a bad offensive line, decent at best. DJ Moore is fantastic for him. But coming off a thumb injury, I don't see a way Justin Fields' stock is going to rise the rest of the year, barring a major push in the last few weeks of the year. So going back to this trade idea from The Athletic, would you do it? Accept or decline Justin Fields for a second, a future conditional third, and Taylor Heinicke. Kind of ignore Heinicke. He doesn't really play much of a factor in this one in my eyes. But Fields for 2 day 2 picks. Yes or no? Accept or decline? Now, I am here to say, if you went out and got Justin Fields, it would be very similar to the Falcons offense a few years ago, just covered in first-round picks with Todd Gurley coming over, right? Your quarterback, 11th overall pick in the draft. Your wide receiver and running back, both 8th overall picks in the NFL draft. Your tight end, 4th overall pick. Like, you would have an extremely talented offensive group. So at that point, it would come down to, is Arthur Smith the guy to lead these players? Because we know Drake London and Bijan Robinson are him. Sometimes you miss on first-round picks, right? Just because you're a first-round pick doesn't guarantee you're going to be great. But we know Bijan and Drake London are great and are on great paths. Kyle Pitts is starting to get going. First-round rookie had the rookie had 1,000 yards in his first season. So you got a good trend going for Kyle Pitts as of late. And you've got a much better offensive line in Atlanta than he currently has in Chicago. So if Fields comes down to a much better coaching system, I think they have in Atlanta than they currently do in Chicago, with a much better offensive line, Bijan behind him, London to his left, Kyle Pitts to his right, I think that's going to be a good fit for Justin Fields. And like I said, he has played a lot better as of late. Before he got injured against the Vikings in Week 6, his last 2 starts before that against the Broncos and the Commanders, he had 8 touchdowns and 1 interception, 617 yards. Sure, DJ Moore definitely helped out a ton, but I really do believe Justin Fields is not succeeding in Chicago because of the coaching staff. Fields has not been perfect. He has made bad decisions. He has missed open guys. No question about that. He's got blood on his hands. But I think the coaching staff is failing Justin Fields up in the Windy City more than Justin Fields is failing the Chicago Bears. So with a good team in Atlanta and a good offensive line and a much better defense and a much better head coach, this is going to be an improvement over Desmond Ridder. So now we kind of go to the other side of the conversation. What about Dr. Nine? Does anyone have any real belief or inclination that Ridder is on a path right now to return as the starting quarterback in 2024? It's not easy to find quarterbacks in free agency, and the Falcons are probably going to be just too good to get a good quarterback in the draft. But I have no reason to believe that Atlanta is sitting there thinking, let's run it back with DR9 next year. We have seen a big enough body of work, I think, to have a good idea as to who Desmond Ridder is. And that is an inconsistent quarterback that's probably on a good path to be a good backup quarterback for a long time. Nice guy, good to have in the locker room, super bright, but I don't see a reason to believe Desmond Ridder is going to return as a starter next year. So maybe get a jump start on who the quarterback could be for next year in Justin Fields. If you had to pick a quarterback, who would it be? Desmond Ridder or Justin Fields? Just open-ended question here. Pick one. Who is it? That's going to do it for us on today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in, making us a part of your day. We're going to sign off, let you guys go and enjoy the rest of your day, and catch up later.